A very good day to you. I hope you had yourself an amazing Tuesday. It is the 12th of November 2024, 1905 East African time. And of course, this is the Blackout Fire Radio, the media of the 21st century. And I'm here to tell you about each and everything that was happening throughout the whole of Africa today. Quite a lot was happening. So we're going to be looking at each and everything that was happening in Africa today. We're going to be looking at Mozambique, where the chaos in Mozambique looked like it has escalated a little bit upwards. We're going to be looking at Chad also, where at least 17 soldiers were killed in a Boko Haram attack. Of course, we're going to be looking at Kenya, where Kenya's Raila Odinga has launched his AUC bid. Actually, let us start with that, where Kenya's Raila Odinga has officially launched his AUC bid. In case you're wondering what an AUC bid is, that is the African Union chairperson. There is that African Union chairperson. The current African Union chairman is Musa Faki. So we're looking at who is going to replace him in a few. And Raila is one of the people who have fronted themselves for the same.
Welcome back, and thank you very much for staying with us on this broadcast. Remember, the hashtag is KTN Prime tonight. But all eyes are on Raila Odinga in as far as the AUC chairperson race is concerned. And tomorrow, President William Ruto will be unveiling Raila as Kenya's candidate for the AUC Commission chairperson, or the KAU Commission chairperson position. But what does it take, and how far are we? These are the questions you might be asking yourself this evening. And as far as the countries supporting Raila Odinga is concerned, do we have the East Africa region support? Let's take a look at these particular countries. And in the illustration this evening, the map you are seeing on this particular illustration in blue are the countries that are already in support of Raila Odinga's candidature. That is including Algeria, Nigeria, of course, our very own Kenya, Tanzania, and of course, if you follow closely with me, they are marked in blue, Somalia, Uganda, South Africa, Rwanda, Nigeria, Zambia, Zimbabwe, Malawi, Burundi. Seychelles is also supporting Raila's candidature for this race. Ghana, South Sudan, Guinea-Bissau, Angola, Algeria, and Congo, Brazzaville. Now, as you can see, of course, looking at that particular continent, we still have a long way to go, but we will see what happens as the campaigns intensify. But who are the candidates who are, of course, running against Raila Odinga? This makes four of them. Raila Amolo Odinga from Kenya. We're also seeing Mohamed Yusuf from Djibouti. A number of people saying this might be a big threat for this particular race. But
Mohamed Yusuf is actually the biggest threat to Raila Odinga in this, because apparently there are claims that all the Muslim countries in Africa are supporting him, and there are quite a lot of Muslim countries in Africa. So for you to make it to the AUC job, you have to get endorsed by presidents from different countries, and that's you. So those are the presidents of countries that are endorsing Kenya's opposition leader Raila Odinga for the same, including South Africa, Tanzania, Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, of course, and Rwanda, and quite a few, South Sudan, quite a few East African countries. A total of about 17, 18 are already endorsing Kenya's former Prime Minister and opposition leader Raila Odinga. Mohamed Yusuf is perhaps his biggest threat. As I said, there are claims that all the Muslim countries in Africa supporting the Djibouti
see how that goes, especially after tomorrow. And as we look at these elections to happen in February. And Anil Gayan from Mauritania is also a candidate in this race. Richard, of course, let me read that name, Randria Madrato, all right, from Madagascar, is another candidate that is running this race against Raila Amolo Odinga. Not forgetting, President William Ruto will unveil him officially tomorrow. But there is something that ought to be done, a threshold that must be met for a win. 2/3 of the total number of voting countries, we've looked at about 50.
So you have to achieve 2/3 of the number of the voting countries, and of course you have to remember that there are countries that have been banned from voting. Those are the countries that have liberated themselves. You know, the ones that have left the African blocs, such as ECOWAS and the rest. So Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger are not allowed to vote. They were banned from voting because apparently they are not following what they're being told to do, because they're being told, what happens is you're told to, there's the way you're supposed to act in a way that pleases the masters. But apparently those countries are not. Yeah, so Kenyan Raila Odinga is a veteran Kenyan politician. He's been there for so many years. He has vied for presidency 5 times and failed to win in any of the 5 times that he has vied. He's vied 5 times and failed to win in all. Now he's 80 years old now. The 80-year-old opposition leader and former prime minister has turned his sights to the top job, the African Union, which has its headquarters in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. He faces 3 strong competitors, as I said, from Djibouti, Mauritius, and Madagascar, but his strongest being, of course, the Djibouti one. The vote is to find a successor for Chad's Musa Faki Mahamat, who's about to leave office, and it is set to take place by a secret ballot at the AU summit in Feb next year. Odinga has, however, warned that, if you look at his campaign so far, if you look at, by the way, if you look at some of the people supporting him, he has won some of the supporters that people thought he wouldn't. For example, Nigeria, South Africa. So he's doing well himself. But I don't know if he's gonna win, because they have him. They have Musa Faki. No, Musa Faki is the one resigning. They have the Djiboutian competitor, who is going to, of course, be a very, very strong competitor for him. In what I said, it looks like the Muslim countries might be backing him. Kenyan him, and he formally launched Raila Odinga's candidature last week, presenting him he is the member of parliament. He's the longest serving member of parliament for the biggest slum in the world, being endorsed Africa's conflict economy, economy, the biggest slum in the world. Kibera for years was never able to make economic reforms. Kibera is a small in area in comparison to what? In comparison to Africa. So the man who couldn't change a slum claims that he can bring economic liberation to Africa. So he tweeted, and let me read his tweet. Raila Odinga tweeted and said, "Today in Addis Ababa, I unveil my vision and priorities for the African continent. I envision an Africa that is united, prosperous, competitive, peaceful, revered, and influential in the global arena. I envision a continent where industries flourish and cities are connected through..." I've lost the tweet, but that is what he tweeted on X. He said, "Where cities are connected through high-speed rail, fiber optic cables, and data connectivity." Of course, a lot of it's politics. It's what happens in politics. But then you ask again, as I asked, this man was an MP for so many years in the world's biggest slums. What is his track record? What can he show that he has done? That he has done over the years to his people, leave alone the African people, to his own people in his own home. You know, you have to ask yourself some of those questions before you fall into the lies that get peddled every now and then. So he said that among his focus is economic development, enhancing intra-African trade, and tackling climate change, with particular attention to larger scale continental infrastructure projects. He now needs to convince the AU's 54 member states. 3 have been banned, as I said. 3 of the fastest growing countries in Africa have banned. Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger cannot vote in this thing. So if Raila wins, he'll become the oldest chairperson of the commission, beating even the current chair, Musa Faki.
Four countries in the continent. That is, of course, you need to get two-thirds of the total number of the voting countries. When we say this, please have it in mind that there are a number of countries that have been banned from voting, three of them, mainly because of the coups, and that includes, of course, Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger. But either way, each candidate or the winner must meet the threshold of two-thirds of the total number of voting countries in support for their candidature and in that position. 34 out of the 51, and like I mentioned earlier on, we have a number of African countries that have been experiencing coups, and three of those countries have been banned. That is what you're seeing here: Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger. All right, now this is a conversation we'll be having today, discussing what exactly it means for Kenya, what is going to be done in as far as the campaign is concerned, and what needs, especially, to be done by the government, by Raila Odinga and his team. And at the end of the day, Kenya is going to benefit because President William Ruto and, of course, Musalia Mudavadi have continued to emphasize that this is not about one person, but it is about the entire country. So they talk to us. We are at KTN News at Doris Anki on
So that is what is needed. As I said, you need two-thirds. You need 34 out of the 51. It's supposed to be 54, but it's 51 now because, of course, the three countries that were banned. So that is what is happening with the AUC chairperson job that is happening at the moment. Of course, there is that competition that is going on, and his competitor is right now looks like he's leading, considering that he has the support of most Muslim countries. So I don't know what is going to happen. What are you going to see that as they progress? Of course, with Djibouti, it's the Djiboutian one that is, of course, looks like he's the one that is going to give Raila Odinga a headache. It is very important that Raila wins because if you look at the Kenyan political landscape at the moment, he has joined hands with the president, meaning he really needs to win the AUC job because the only reason my personal thoughts, he joined hands with the president is because he wanted to be endorsed for the same. So that means if he does not win the AUC job, he's going to come back to the Kenyan political scene, which is not good for the president right now. He wants him out of the political scene because Raila is a force to reckon with. He got around 6 million votes last election. 6 million votes is a lot of votes. That man has a lot of backing, especially from his home ground, that is in Nyanza. If he says that tomorrow there's no work, there's no work. So diplomatic affair analysts are saying that Raila could lose the AUC chairperson seat to Djibouti's candidate Mahmoud Yusuf. They're saying that Raila's chances to clinch the seats are low, even though he was endorsed by the East African country states. He's saying that, especially with the way African political landscape works, if you look at, for example, the francophone countries, that is the type of reasoning we have in Africa, where we judge each other according, if not from tribes, it's from who colonized who. So now francophone countries might unite to edge out Raila Odinga because, of course, they have Djibouti's candidate Mahmoud Yusuf, and it wouldn't be strange, as I said, it's something common in Africa. In Central African Republic, there's a whole war going on between the francophones and the anglophones in the same country. I mean, you were colonized by the French, I was colonized by the British, so I'll kill you. So it's not even something strange when I say the francophone countries might unite to make sure that they edge out Raila on this. I really don't care who wins or what happens. I don't think AU, AUC, or any other of these organizations benefit Africa in any way. But of course, it's important we talk about these things because we need to we need more people to know what really happens with these institutions that were formed. For example, the AU that was formed in 1980, was it in 1982, as the OAU, then later became the AU. Really, something that we really need to talk about these things so that more people can know what is happening. Because now people might think that if our man takes over the AU job, then we now are going to, you know, benefit from it. Will we really? In 2017, if I can remember well, Kenya's former Foreign Affairs CS Amina Mohamed vied, and he lost. She lost to Chad's Musa Faki after 7 rounds of voting, if I can remember well. So I'm also of the opinion that the candidate from Djibouti is going to win because if you look at, for example, if we put in the Francophone narrative, the Franco-Anglophone narrative, he loses at that age. If we put in the Muslim countries narrative, he loses at that age. So in 2017, they claimed that Kenya was about to win the seat. Amina Mohamed, yes, Amina Mohamed was about to win the seat, but a last-minute change by Uganda, Djibouti, and Burundi led to Kenya losing the seat. So apart from that, as you know, it's a really important seat for them. For us Africans, we really don't. Personally, for me, I really don't care who sits at what at any of these puppet bodies. Really doesn't impact our life in any way. But for them, it's really important who sits at that position. When I say them, I mean them. It's really important who sits at that position. So, of course, apart from the leaders campaign, the aspirants campaigning, the likes of Raila and the everybody else who's vying, there are going to be also bigger forces that will, of course, want to place their person there. So if Raila is their man, he's gonna win. If he's not, he's gonna lose. It's as simple as that. So that is all that was happening in Kenya with Raila's OAU bid, AUC bid. OAU is the Organization of African Union that was changed to AU. In DRC, with all the problems that are happening in DRC, DRC is going through a lot of problems at the moment. It's messed up in there. Well, they have a project in the midst of all their problems. They have decided that they're going to finance the world's largest hydropower dam. I mean, kids are dying of hunger in DRC. DRC has a GDP of a negligible GDP that I don't even need to mention. It's a poor country, messed up to the core. You know, a lot of problems happening there. We have insecurity there. Has a GDP of 66 billion. Well, not really bad, but bad. DRC is a country in Central Africa, by the way. So you look at what is happening there, you look at the per capita in that country, you look at the GDP, you look at the GDP growth rate, you look at it's a country that is doing poorly really on all fronts. But they sat down and thought, how are we going to solve the problem of unemployment? How are we going to solve the problem of food security? Our kids should not be dying of hunger, you know. We are DRC, we should do something about it. So they thought, and they came up with this brilliant idea that, you know what, let's finance the world's largest hydropower dam. If you remember the day that we talked about the confessions and economic hitman, we talked about white elephant projects that are forced. So the World Bank and other financial institutions are in discussions about funding a mega hydropower project in DRC that has the potential of supplying electricity across the whole African continent. They always come like that. They always come packaged as the next big thing in the world, you know, something that is going to make Africa this. It's always some bullshit, really. So they they're talking about how they're going to fund a mega hydropower project in the DRC that has the potential of supplying electricity across the entire African continent. It's going to be called the Grand Inga Dam. It's capable of producing 44,000 megawatts. That's a lot of megawatts. And is estimated to cost how much? 80 billion USD. 80 billion US dollars is the loan that are going to be given. Then you look at the priority list in the DRC. Is the world's largest hydro dam what you really need at the moment in DRC? Is that at the top? It's a good project. I mean, if you have something capable of producing 44,000 megawatts of power, that's good power enough to power your whole country and maybe more. You know, it's a good project. Where are the funds coming from? What is the interest rates for the loans? What are you signing securities for the same? Is it at the top of your priority list? Like, are we done solving all the other problems in Congo and now we need a 44,000 megawatts of power and 80 billion USD dam? Is that at the top of the priority list in Congo? Is that what we really need in Congo? Is that what Congo is really lacking? The construction has, by the way, stalled over a decade because of disagreements between the former DRC government and the World Bank over issues of transparency. The current government has revived talks with the World Bank to fund the project. The project has also faced opposition from activists, focusing more on the need of investors in the mining sector rather than the goal of supplying electricity throughout the country. So people are saying that even the dam is not being built for the Congolese citizens. It's being built for, well, mark this, the Congolese citizens are the ones who are going to pay for the dam. The ones who are going to pay the full amount plus the interest. The ones who are going to pay the 80 billion USD. However, some people are claiming, some Congolese are pessimistic about the whole issue of the dam, and rightly so, because they feel that it is being built to focus more on the needs of investors in the mining sector, to make, of course, to allow them to go on with their mining in a easier, seamless way now that they have electricity. So the Congolese people, is the dam being built for them, or is it being built for the mining companies in the DRC that need electricity in order to do their mining? Are the Congolese people being used to build an 80,000 USD dam for investors? South Africa, Nigeria, and other countries have expressed interest in importing power from the Grand Inga Dam if it's completed. And I still don't think this is the biggest priority in Congo. It's a good project, but I don't think it's the biggest priority in Congo right now. One. Two, I do not believe that this is being done for the people of Congo. I'm also of the opinion that maybe the common Congolese citizen is not the target in this hydropower project. I might be wrong, I hope I am. But I have my doubts on whether this is being built with the best of intentions, the best of intentions being to help the people of Congo. I have my doubts. That is the DRC. In Chad, well, at least 17 soldiers were killed in a Boko Haram attack. Boko Haram has been ravaging Nigeria and some other West African countries. And Boko Haram insurgents killed 17 Chadian soldiers in a weekend in an attack in a military post. That also left 96 attackers dead, according to the Chadian army. So they're saying, yeah, they did kill 17 of us, but kill 93 of them. So we won, though we lost. The attack in the Lake Chad region took place on Saturday, according to Army spokesperson General Isaac Sheikh. He said on state television Saturday night that the attack happened on Saturday, and he did not provide any further details apart from, of course, the number of deaths. Remember, the Lake Chad region has been hit by frequent attacks by Boko Haram insurgents this year, including Boko Haram and the Islamic State in West Africa. So there was a period of peace following a successful military operation that was launched in 2020 by the Chadian army to destroy the extremist group bases. That is in 2020, and there was that period of peace that they enjoyed, but it looks like that is coming to an end with the 17 Chadian soldiers killed and the 93 attackers also killed. They are both African people. They are all African. So have to. It's sad when an African loses their lives fighting for in wars and for people who do not really care about them. Boko Haram launched the insurgency more than a decade ago against Western education. It's seeking to establish Islamic law in northeastern Nigeria. The same insurgency has spread to neighboring West African countries, including Cameroon, Niger, and Chad. That is why Chad, a country that has about 18 million people, has been having political unrest in itself before and after the disputed 2021 presidential election that saw the victory of Deby Itno. He has led the country as interim president during the period of military rule that followed his father's death in 2021. That is when he took over power. That is what was happening in Chad. People dying from jihadist attacks. In Mozambique, at least 3 people have also died in the latest protest, and of course, army has been deployed to help contain the situation. At least 3 people were killed Thursday in Mozambique's capital following clashes with the police, and 66 people have been injured. The casualties add up to 20 people who have died. That is according to not the best of sources, but Amnesty International. So, of course, Mozambique armed forces have been deployed, and the Constitutional Council ordered the National Elections Commission to explain the discrepancies in the number of votes cast in 3 elections that were held last month. The incumbent president right now is Felipe Nyusi Frelimo, has repeated he is open to dialogue and warned against the economic repercussions of the protest. Because people have died, people have been shot. It doesn't look so good there. But of course, sometimes you have to do it for the greater good. You know, when we have the same leaders over and over messing up your economies and not really caring about anything like we've been having in most African countries. You know, year in, year out, you have the same leaders. We believe that democracy works, but it's not democracy really. It's all but a smoke screen. We believe we voted in better leaders, and every now and then we believe that this one is gonna be better than the last one we had. Nothing ever changes. Lastly, in Kenya, the university students are going to remain at home as strike resolution efforts fail once again. University students continue to stay at home. University students will continue to stay at home after efforts to resolve the ongoing university lecturer strike faltered once more. They had a meeting today. A meeting convened by the National Assembly Committee on Education was once again called off after the Interpublic University Council Consultative Forum, it's called the IPUCCF, failed to provide documents proving that the government is ready to invest 4.3 billion to facilitate the reopening of universities and bring back students to class. So they need 4.3 billion in order to reopen the university and bring students back to class. Well, okay. The committee was forced to summon 3 cabinet secretaries to address the issue. According to the chairman, Julius Meli, Education CS Julius Magoha, Labor CS Alfred Mutua, and National Treasury CS John Bandi will appear before the committee next week to explain the government's efforts to end the strike, which has taken quite some time. And so, in a meeting attended by the committee, the universities are just asking for the money that is critical in resolving the strike. They want 4.3 billion in order for students to go back to school, of course, and for them to be able to run the universities affair and do so in the right way. But that was not resolved, so that means Kenyan universities will remain closed until the government can provide the 4.3 billion that is needed. They're actually saying that the IPUCCF explained that the council had only managed to secure 1.6 billion to offer the university lecturers in an attempt to resolve the dispute. However, the union rejected the amount, insisting on now more than they had asked in the first time. The first time they were asking for 4.3 billion. They're now insisting on 9.6 billion in order to implement the back to work formula. So that is how messed up we are, and that is what was happening throughout the whole of Africa with DRC. In DRC, of course, they're planning to build the world's largest hydropower dam, referred to the Confessions of the Economic Hitman that John Perkins was talking about. White elephant projects in Africa. Is a hydropower dam a priority in DRC's list? Well, I'll leave you to answer that. In Kenya, Raila Odinga has launched his African Union chairmanship bid, supported by William Ruto and 18 other countries. will he be able to manage to get 33? Because you need 34 people to endorse you. Two-thirds of Africa is, we're supposed to have 54 states, but 3 were banned. Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger cannot vote in the AU election. So now he needs 34 presidents to endorse him in order to win. He has 18. Will he manage to get the others, or is he going to get beaten? In Chad, um, 17 soldiers were killed in a Boko Haram attack. Of course, Boko Haram has been fighting to have an a Muslim state in that West African part, in Cameroon, Niger, and Chad. And the insurgency has spread to neighboring countries. And of course, they are seeking to establish Islamic law in northeastern Nigeria. That is what they believe they are doing in Mozambique. Not in Nigeria, but in that West African part. In Mozambique, at least 3 more people died in the latest protests, even as the army got deployed in the streets to try and deal with that. Anyway, that was all that was happening in Africa today. Keith joined me just to end the
Hold
show.
on. Do me a favor. Do me a favor. I don't know where the hell Joby went at. Do me a favor.
Mm.
Um, check your phone, the more your messages. I want you put the link I sent you into the search bar right now. Tell me what happens.
Okay. That can't work because it's a Play Store app. It's a Play Store link, but let me just put it.
That's a who link.
It's a Play Store link. It's supposed to open on Google Play Store. And our laptop does not have a Google Play Store.
The laptop can still take you to Google Play, whatever it is.
Play Store
All lap,
just
all
works on.
lap, all laptops have Google Play Store.
Does it have a Google Play Store or does it have a Microsoft Store?
Same thing. Just no Android and Android Store, not a Google Store. I mean, not a Microsoft. Android's not Microsoft anymore.
No, I'm saying, okay, I'm copying the link. I'm saying laptops have Microsoft Store, not Google Play Store.
Yeah, but it still could take you to an Android. It would be called like an Android store or some shit.
Okay.
Just see what it does to me. Stop trying to stop
That's
trying to
what
be too damn smart. Just see
no,
what it does.
that's what I'm keying in at the moment.
I mean, if I got to send your ass down to Rwanda, you be too smart. Kagame might put a bullet in your head.
Yeah, tell him I'll be there on December 15th. You can do that if you want.
Yeah, they're not. Are they? Are they supplying transport tomorrow, or do I have to?
They've not confirmed transport, but they've just confirmed what I told you. That is the accommodation and everything. Accommodation and food, which
Okay.
is what it's let's see what it does. Yeah, it can't open. It's just as I had said. Let me share the screen so that you can see.
Hmm.
It's a Google Play Store link. It can only open on an Android phone.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah,
Do me a favor. Do me a favor, more. You know, operate the TV up there.
yeah, yeah. The
Probably not. No.
I've never used it, so I don't know.
I don't know if the computer's there because I want to see if that's a that's a TV station on all Android software. So all TVs
Oh,
in Africa are on Android. So I want to see if the TV
yeah.
station is up.
Okay. I think it will. Let me try on the TV. I think it will work on the TV because the TV is an
That,
Android. Let me
of
try.
course, that's where it would be at. I know I know I work. Just go to the TV section and open up the app store, and
Mm.
then type in Black Eye Fire Network.
Okay, let me try that on. Is it on iOS yet?
Nah. Oh, is it on Apple? Yeah,
Yeah.
but you guys don't got Apple TV in Africa.
So can I find it on Apple Store, App Store yet?
Mm, I doubt it. I doubt if you guys will find on Apple. It's Apple TV, so I don't think you guys got Apple TV in Africa.
I have it on my phone, but I've never used it really. I don't know
You
what
guys got.
I don't know what the hell is even there.
Yeah, yeah. Apple TV. That means you have to pay for your Apple TV. Yes.
I'm not paying for shit.
Yeah. So nah, you guys don't got. Nah, you wouldn't be. So you wouldn't put it on Apple. We got. Yeah. Are we on Apple TV? Yeah.
Nah, I'm
I'm
not
gonna see
paying.
Android. Android's free. Your if you already got Android TV, all you gotta do is just go to App Store inside the TV itself
Mm.
and type in Black High Fire Network, and our TV station should pop up.
Let me go try that right now.
Yeah, take me. Yeah, go try. Let me see. Tell me what you get. So Joe